Haha. Had to get a little beverage because this video is going to be a long one, let me tell you. 138 questions. 138. That's a lot. What's up, dudes? Welcome back to another video. I'm home now, I'm in Arizona. I just got back from the A Day to Remember tour. It was 69 days long, nice. I have about 8 more days off, and then I hit the road with Falling in Reverse, and we'll be right back with the POVs, I promise. I'm sorry I've had to make you guys wait. Something happened, and I had to stop making videos, but that's okay. We push forward. People are subbing, people are watching, everything's fine. This is supposed to be the 50,000 subscriber Q&A, but we are at just over 61,000 now. So I'm a little late to this video. We have a lot of questions to get through. I'm definitely not gonna answer all of them, but I went through and I hearted a bunch that I thought were good. Not that other people's weren't good. A lot of them were questions I answered in the previous Q&A, the 10,000 subscriber Q&A, man. That doesn't even feel like it was that long ago. This is really growing quickly, man. It's like, it genuinely feels possible that we can hit the 100,000 and I get that YouTube plaque, baby. I'm coming for that plaque, man. I'm gonna get it. I feel like we're gonna get it. We got a lot of cool things coming up. We got a whole US tour, then we got Mexico, and then we head overseas across the pond to the UK. So a lot, we'll have some international videos coming up soon. We'll be dealing with some backline kits and stuff like that. I think it'll be pretty cool. But anyways, yeah, like, I can't thank you guys enough for taking it this far. We have a lot of questions to get through. So without further ado, let's crack straight into it. First question, this comes from BovTS12. You have the opportunity to create a custom kit, snare, and cymbal. What sizes, materials, finish, sound, etc. are you going with? What I've come to discover doing this and working with all sorts of different kits and stuff is that you can, like, any kit will sound good. There are kits that stand out for sure, but yeah, I guess if I were to go with any kit, if I were to create one for myself, gun to my head, I already have a Tama. I've had 3 or 4 Tama kits in my life, so I guess I would switch it up. There's a kit that I've always wanted. It's for years and years and years since I first saw it. It's the Ludwig Tequila Sunrise. I think it's an acrylite. An acrylite is the acrylic kits. I would do one of those, like a 26-inch kick drum, 14-inch rack, 16-inch floor, 18-inch floor. And to go with that kit, I guess I'd have to do some big cymbals. Cymbals, man, I think they all sound good. Like, whoever wants to give me free ones, that's what I'm gonna play. But I've played all sorts of Sabians, Zildjians, Minels, Legato. They all sound good. They all have plenty to choose from to find the sound that you want. I don't really care what cymbals I play. I mean, Zildjian would be cool because they're the OGs. They're like the pinnacle. In my mind, they're the pinnacle of cymbals. If you were to get an endorsement, you get Zildjian. Like, that's awesome. That is a major goal. Materials, well, that kit is a acrylic, but you can't go wrong with maple. Alex's kit was a mahogany with maple re-rings that sounded really good. Like I said, man, I would have to go sit down and play a bunch and be like, this is the one I want. I couldn't tell you exactly what I'm going for, but yeah, on to the next. This one comes from Shep3942. Hey Matt, have you ever been starstruck by anyone? If so, who? Do you get nervous doing sound check in front of other famous drummers? Starstruck? And I'm not trying to sound like a cool guy here, but no, I haven't really ever been starstruck. I just see people as people for the most part, so I'm not like, I don't really put anyone on a pedestal. The only time I was ever starstruck in my life was at Six Flags, and this had nothing to do with drums at all, but me and a couple friends were at Six Flags, and what's his name? Oh, James DeFranco walked by. Is it James DeFranco? Hold on. Who's the dude in Pineapple Express? See, I don't even remember his name. Pineapple Express movie, who the freaking heck is it? It is James. Oh, it's James Franco, not DeFranco. Okay. Yeah, the only time I've ever been starstruck by anybody that I can remember was at Six Flags, walking past James DeFranco. He had like 8 beautiful women with him, and I was like, dang, that's cool. But no drummers. No drummers I've really been starstruck. I really try and just avoid famous people for the most part. Don't meet your heroes type situation, you know? Camera overheated. This is gonna take a really long time to make this video, so I want you, please like it. This is from Al Francis NH. Best catering you've ever had provided by a venue, and then the worst. The best one that everybody knows, if you guys watch all my videos, you guys know the very best catering in America, in my opinion, is Guilford, New Hampshire. Hands down, there's a literal small boat in the catering room full of ice and crab legs and oysters and shrimp and prawns, and there's sushi. It's like a seafood haven. I'm not even the biggest seafood guy, but like, dude, that place goes all out. There's free merch. They make jackets that say like the band that you're with, and then it says Guilford, and there's like mugs and cups, and there's an ice cream fridge, there's insane desserts, and this is open all day. Insane drinks, anything you could ever think of. There's a whole like movie rack of candy, and you can just take it all, and they leave it open until you leave. So like everybody just raids the catering room before we leave at night and fills up the bus's fridges with like good drinks and stuff like that. It's hands down the very best. And if you haven't watched the Guilford video, go watch it. I'll put a little link here or something. The worst? I don't remember what the worst is. Like there's so many bad ones. Any place that just gives you like hamburger buns and hamburgers and like lettuce and tomatoes and ketchup and stuff like that, I'm like, okay guys, come on. I love a good bird, I love a good glizzy. When you walk into a catering room and that's all there is, it's like, really, man? Okay, cool. And there's honestly so many bad ones that I can't even name. I can't even name them. This next one comes from GP Music. What's up, dude? I recognize this guy. Most memorable moment from all the years playing and touring. Congrats on 50K, well deserved, much love, brother. Thank you, dude, appreciate it. The most memorable moment, that would probably be, definitely would be the old band I used to play for. I used to play for a band called The Word Alive. We wrote a song for the 2018 League of Legends Worlds event, and it was awesome. It was us, Glitch Mob, and a DJ called Mako that did a song. The song's called Rise. I personally didn't have anything to do with writing the song. We got flown out for the event in Seoul, South Korea. It was awesome, man. They took care of us. We flew first class all the way over there. We got penthouse suites in, I think it's called Dragon City in Seoul. It was like the first time I like truly felt like a rock star. And I was just we were there for a week. We just got like the full rock star treatment, and everybody that worked for Riot Games and stuff were super cool and inclusive, and everybody knew our names. Live drums got cut like a day or two before we flew there, so I didn't even play or perform. So if you go watch the live video, you're not gonna see me anywhere. I got to go and I got to hang out and just be a part of it. That is what was cool about it. They made me feel a part of it, even though they kind of kicked me out of it. But it is what it is, man. I don't really care. I thought it was just a super awesome experience. You can go watch the video. If you search Rise, if you search 2018 Worlds, League of Legends, you can watch the live video. The song's called Rise. This question comes from BlazeUp1132. Matt, who has been your favorite band to work with? Who do you wish to tech for, and have you met Ronnie? Love your vids, brother. Keep it up. Appreciate you. My favorite band to work with? I can't just pick one. Like, I feel the most at home with Falling in Reverse because I've been with them for so long. I've known Luke for so long. I've actually known the whole band for a really long time. All the guys, Ronnie, Christian, Max, Tyler. So I just feel the most at home there. I just feel like more involved in that, you know what I mean? So I would say that's probably my favorite to be a part of. That doesn't mean I don't like any of the other ones. Like, I haven't worked for any divas yet. Who do you wish to tech for? I think it would be cool to do like Abe Cunningham from Deftones. He plays Tama. He's a heavy hitter. I've heard that he's a chill dude. So I think it would be cool to just be a part of like the Deftones camp. I like his style of drumming. Like I used to get compared to him a lot when I was playing live. Me tuning and him playing would be a pretty good combo in my opinion. This question comes from L. Harmy. What's the process for learning the likes/dislikes and small intricacies for a drummer you haven't worked with before? For me, every time I've done it, I kind of it depends on the kit. Like, I don't know what's going on with me, but I feel like I always end up with drummers that have small kits. I have yet to get any drummers with like a massive monster crazy kit. If that were the case, I would get in contact with the previous drum tech, and I would probably get like a list of questions ahead of time that I would bring up on the phone, and kind of go from there. For Alex, I just showed up. Like, I don't know, I'm very confident in my ability to do this. With rehearsals and stuff ahead of time, we can kind of at least get the set configuration and positioning down. Alex already had a rug with that was mapped out, so it was super easy. Everything was labeled. All the stands were labeled. I just kind of showed up and set them up and tuned them, and he sat down and never had, the entire tour never had any notes. He loved the way the drums sound. He was comfortable every day, he said, and so that was really easy to do. I just kind of hop into it, man. I don't really overthink it. Like I said, I'm pretty confident in my ability to do this, so I just show up and do my thing, you know what I mean? If it was like bigger kits, then I would definitely get in contact with the drum tech and, you know, ask a few questions. This is a good part of the question, actually, because I did have something like this come up with Alex. Small intricacies for the drummer. So very small intricacies. His water, he wanted the lid of his water like barely screwed on, so if he needed a drink in between songs, like the first 3 songs were back to back to back, so he didn't have a lot of time to get a drink or wipe his face off. So for the first couple shows, I would just break the seal and then tighten the lid like I do for Luke, but he wanted it basically just the lid sitting on top so he could rip it off real quick and get a quick drink in. So that was the one note that popped up, and you know, only takes once for you to never do it again. And then what was the other thing? Oh, flashlights. So I think it was like the second or third show. So you guys go back and look, but there was a big drum riser that was basically everybody's riser. There's a big staircase, but in front of his drums are these blinding lights. And I never experienced these lights like he does. So at the end of the set, he would come off the stage, he would come off the riser and walk down the stairs, but he's been staring at these lights for an hour and he can't see a damn thing. So one of the very first shows, he walked down the stairs and almost walks off the stage. There was a part of the stage that wasn't taped with neon gaff, and he couldn't see, and he almost walked off, and he's like, dude, he's like, I can't see, he's like, I almost fell off the stage. So after that, I was like, oh, noted. I'm gonna go up on stage and hit the stairs with a flashlight and follow him off every night, and that's what I did. So it's just little things like that you learn along the way. That could have been really bad, honestly, you know? And then now, from now on, I'll know to I'll just always go up there with a flashlight, especially if there's lights shining straight into the drummer's face for the entire show. All right, this question comes from the Mr. Ken 33. When did you first start playing drums, and how did you start working with bands in this capacity? Love your vids, even though I can't play a bar of drums. Hell yeah, that's great. I love hearing that, like, people that don't even play drums watch the videos. I think that's really cool. When did you first start playing the drums? I started playing the drums in the year 2000. I was about to turn 12. I joined a beginning band in 6th grade when I was 11, and then a couple months later was my birthday and I got my first drum kit, and never looked back. So I've been playing drums for 24 years now. How did I start working with bands in this capacity? I just met the right people. I was in the right place at the right time. This is literally how it happened. I played by myself in my room for like eight or 9 years. And once I started getting involved in the local scene, that's when things started to really pick up. I started getting recognized as a pretty good drummer, and my friend Dan Shapiro, he had heard about me and asked me to join his band, Sharks Never Sleep. So I played with these are just local bands. I played with his band, Sharks Never Sleep, for a while. And then he joined a band called The Word Alive, which were an internationally touring signed band. Years and years later, or not years and years, probably a year or so later, their drummer quits, and Dan is like, I know a guy, and Dan hits me up. I go to Indiana and I record The Word Alive's sophomore album, Life Cycles, in 2012, and that was my first like real like gig. You know, it was like I was just a studio drummer basically. I cut the album. I learned it on it was very last minute. I learned it on tapping my feet and on my knees with my hands on the drive to Indiana. I was practicing the songs and learning them, just sitting in the back of a van, tapping around, just listening to their demos. Because of that, that's basically what set me down the path, was just that one moment. So thank you, Dan, if you're watching this video. It's kind of your doing in a way. After that, Luke joins the band. Luke needs a drum tech, hits me up. I do Warped Tour 2014 was my first like real kind of tour. He quits the band, I join the band. COVID happens, I quit the band. And then Luke joins Falling in Reverse and then hits me up to do that. And Falling in Reverse is a very big band. He was like, do you want to come drum tech again for this much money? And I was like, yes, I do, 100%, let's do it. So, and here I am. And then I started doing the YouTube thing, and yeah, it's been a cool, wild ride. It's been, especially this last year, man. Since this YouTube thing is so cool, I still can't even get over it. Like, every day I look at it and I'm just like, dang. So again, thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. The next question from Todd Tab 3048. Ever had any grief from management about your vids? Thanks, dude. Love the channel. Have I? Yeah, I have. Recently, actually. That's why you guys haven't seen a POV in a month. Next question comes from George Walker 3702. He's got the Saint Anger fist as his profile picture, which is crazy because that's the craziest sounding snare drum of all. How do you keep up your playing chops as a drum tech? Do you get to practice while on tour? I don't know. I do not get to practice on tour. Since I've been drum teching professionally like this, it has been the least amount of drums I've ever played in the last 24 years of playing drums. In my opinion, to be a really good drum tech, you don't need to sit and play the drums for a long time. Usually I'm tuning the drums in like 5 to 10 minutes tops. So I'm hitting them minimally. I'm not trying to annoy anybody. I'm not trying to whack on the snare and destroy everyone's ears that are trying to work. I've got a lot of people around me close that are trying to do their job, and I don't need to be bashing their ears in, especially playing. If I'm sitting up there playing, that's insane. I would never do that. I would never just sit up there and riff on the drums. That would just piss people off and make people not like you. I don't really get to keep my chops in order. When I'm with Falling, I get to do the crew jam, and that's about the most drums I get to play. Thank God for that. Right now, the only time I'm gonna get to play drums is when I'm at home, and right now I have nowhere to play them, so I'm not playing a lot of drums right now. Practice pads, if I'm feeling like it, but practice pads are super boring, and not to say that I shouldn't do it. I definitely should be doing that. Props to all the people that can sit and practice on the practice pad and not lose their minds. Y'all are built different. Our next question is from Pathley. At what point in your career did you decide that being a drum tech would be your main job, or have you always wanted to be one? At what point? This is actually pretty recent, man. Like probably within the last 2 or 3 years, especially the last year, now that YouTube is doing well. I'm at a very pivotal point in my life when it comes to like career. I would consider myself a successful person now, which is crazy because I'm 35. It took me a long time to get here. If you want to do this, you have to sacrifice a lot. You got to deal with basically just being straight up poor for a really long time. Yeah, honestly, like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, it pays pretty well. And the more you tour, the more money you make. I think it's a perfect lifestyle for me. I work for a month or two and then I can go home and just do whatever I want. I don't have to like get a job while I'm at home. I just kind of, I just do whatever I feel like. But a lot of my time is spent just kind of like playing video games. Playing video games and, just hanging out with friends and stuff, Have I always wanted to be a drum tech? No, like I never really ever thought about being a drum tech. I know I wanted to be involved with drums in some way. Preferably I would like to play them, but I enjoy working with drums just as much as I do playing them. This next question comes from Laws Riley. After teching for so many bands and artists and working with so many drummers, which drum brand has been your favorite to work with? Keep up the great work. My favorite brand to work with would probably be Meinl. They're so quick. They're so quick to respond, and they're so quick to send out stuff. There's like zero downtime. They just next day everything, which is awesome because usually I get a bunch of extra cymbals and stuff before the tour. Like Luke doesn't break a lot of cymbals. Alex breaks a lot of cymbals. With Luke, I'll take 2 extra chinas and like 1 extra crash, and that's about it. And I've never had an issue. Like we have a 19-inch crash that we've been using for like almost 2 years now that hasn't cracked. But they're great because yeah, they just get everything. I can wake up in the morning and be like, oh no, I need more sticks, or I broke this crash, I need a backup. So, and they'll just next day it, and they'll send it to whatever the next venue is in the next hotel on a day off, and we're good to go. Other companies, I don't know if I should say their names, but they have no matter what, no matter who you are or what drummer you're working for, it's like a 3-week waiting period, which is so, I just don't understand. This has caused me so much frustration. It's a 3-week waiting period to get what you need. When you're supplying consumables for drums and drummers that are on tour, how long is the average tour? 4 weeks. So 2 weeks into a tour, you need something, you gotta wait 3 weeks, the tour's over. So I'm at Guitar Center buying stuff, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, I don't know what's going on at this company, but they make a great product, but they really need to figure that part out, because it is incredibly annoying. Take your guesses in the comments. All right, next question. This comes from Chad Fancher. Do any of your bands play with click tracks? Literally every single one of them. Every single one of them. I would say the overwhelming majority of bands are playing to click tracks. Maybe even 98% of them. I would say the majority of bands that aren't are like bar cover bands. Maybe, and I was just in Nashville and I was on Broadway. There's a band playing at every bar over there. Even those guys had click track rigs and stuff playing in the middle of the day to a bar. This question comes from Rye6871. Do you prefer to work the big arenas or the smaller amphitheaters? Are there pros and cons to either? As a tech, I would much rather do a big arena. Just the workflow is much easier. They're set up in a better way to where like the docks are very close to the stage. So pushing the gear from the trucks to the stage is like a very short distance. It's super easy. There's always plenty of hands. It's just a more like streamlined, easy process. Amphitheaters can be the same, some aren't. The Right Back at It Again POV is a good example of a great amphitheater, but a terrible, terrible load-in situation. Also, in the summertime doing amphitheaters, a lot of the time it's so hot, man, and like we're outside for a pretty good amount of the day. So yeah, I would rather do an arena than an amphitheater. I would definitely rather do an arena than a theater or a club, that's for sure. But yeah, arenas all day, man. Even though they all look the same. it starts to feel like Groundhog's Day after a while. All right, this next question comes from CM Shadows. Have you ever had to fill in on drums for someone you're teching for? If so, what was the situation? I have filled in on drums. This was a long time ago. I want to say this is like 2015 or 2016. Luke broke his foot. We didn't know it was broken yet. And then the next day, he goes to urgent care and finds out that his foot is broken. We found out his foot was broken probably about 6 hours before the show. So I knew the songs from Life Cycles for the most part. I had not practiced them in any capacity. I had just watched him play every night. But so I had 6 hours to like get ready to play a full headlining set. I had to play a bunch of super, super hard parts, but luckily like I had just watched him every night and I got through it. Like I would say I did very well the first night. There was a few mess ups, but nothing to where a song had to stop. Like I messed up, but I still kept the beat going, you know, so we never had to stop a song. But I think I played for like the last 2 weeks of that tour. I don't really take the time to practice these bands that I work for set. I'm pretty confident that I can just do it after watching them play. There's not a lot of stuff that's like super hard. I watched these drummers play these songs a million times and it's just, I could get through most of it, no problem. The next question comes from Guy, 3 E's in that one. Yo, Matt, let's say roles were swapped and you were the drummer for any band. Would you rather still be a tech or be on stage? I get this question a lot. I would 100% rather play. I would totally, if the right band came around and they asked me to join, they were a big enough band, I would for sure consider it. I would most likely do it. I love to play drums. I love to work on drums pretty close to equally. Yeah, I mean, I would totally rather play, dude. Come on, like a big band and have my own tech and play to big crowds. Like, come on, dude. Of course I would. Of course. I would do it in a heartbeat. Anyone out there need a drummer? anyone out there trying to get rid of a drummer and add a new one, you know what I'm saying? Just kidding. I'm not kidding. This one comes from A.G. O'Doyle Rules. Hell yeah, dude. Okay, I think he means, does the artist tell you to do anything specific, or do you just make them sound good? What's your baseline approach? Thanks. When it comes to a new drummer or someone I've never maybe even heard their music, my approach is I take the drums out of their cases and I take how they sound out of the case and just refine that, and that's where I'll start. I'll talk to the front of house engineer. I'll ask, like, am I tuning for you or tuning for the drummer? For Luke, I tune for him. For Alex, I was tuning for front of house. Usually front of house will have notes, if any. I don't think I've ever had a drummer tell me that the kit sounds bad or anything. Like, Luke is the only drummer that I work with that will be like, this kind of sounds weird. No one else, everyone else is just like, hell yeah, sounds great. Mine and Luke's relationship is different. Like, he could tell me whatever and it's fine. Like, I don't take it personal at all. I'm just trying to make him happy with the drums. Yeah, baseline approach, pull them out of the cases and refine how they sound out of the case. This next one comes from Metro Life, kind of newer here. I've seen a handful of videos. I'm not sure how it works. Are you hired by a band for a tour or go between bands? Are you hired by a band for tour or go between bands? I mean, I'm hired by the band's management. Usually I'll get reached out to like via email or a random call sometimes, and they'll just check my availability. They usually don't tell you what band it's for. It's pretty normal to just be like, you'll get asked, hey, are you available these dates? And you'll say either yes or no, and then you find out, like, what, then you negotiate pay, and usually I'll ask, am I getting my own hotel rooms? What's the pay? I personally won't do a tour if I don't get my own hotel room. That's just me. I need my alone time, especially on a day off. This next question is from Dylan Carey. What artist would you play for if you could play for whoever you wanted? Ooh, that's a good question. I would play for Incubus, dude. I would play for Incubus in a heartbeat. It would be Incubus. If I could play for any band, Incubus or Deftones. I don't even know a lot of Deftones songs, to be honest with you. I know like the hits and a few random ones, but I think I would kill it for Deftones. And I just know like all of Incubus music. Like, I've been jamming Morning View since I was 12 and I'm 35 now. So like, that would be amazing. I would love to play with Incubus at Red Rocks. I could die happy there, man. This next one comes from Caleb Pettis. When does the Diet Coke endorsement happen? Looking at you, Coke. Let's go. Are you just a rock guy, basically, is what he's asking, or do I listen to other genres? It really seems like you were singing along to Jamie Johnson in one of your videos. I don't even know who Jamie Johnson is, man, but I obviously know one of his songs, at least one of them. I grew up a rock and metal guy. I would say like the first 10 years or so of me, that's not true. I was gonna say the first 10 years of me playing were like rock and metal, but I was in jazz ensemble and beginning band and all that stuff growing up. So I was exposed to Latin, jazz, and I was exposed to so many different types of music growing up but I gravitated towards rock and metal, let's put it that way. But when it comes to listening to music, I rarely listen to any rock or metal, man. Like, I listen to hip hop, ignorant rap. One of my favorite artists of all time is Tycho. He's like a kind of an EDM guy. I listen to a lot of EDM. Yeah, I don't really listen to a lot of rock and metal music. I'm surrounded by it all the time. The last thing I'm trying to do is listen to breakdowns and screaming when I'm not at work. Doesn't mean I don't like that type of music. There's a time and place for it. If I'm at the gym, I'm listening to rock and metal. This question comes from Ben. We're gonna call him Ben. How do you manage your mental health whilst traveling? I don't really struggle with this, to be honest with you guys. Like, usually days off and stuff are like me time. I'm pretty introverted as a person. Doing this job has helped me with that, helped me become more of an extrovert, or at least made it easier to be an extrovert, I guess. But the biggest issue with touring for me is like constantly being around people. I really value my alone time. I need to be able to sit and like do nothing and just be alone with my thoughts. I recently bought like a pretty banging PC laptop. So this last tour was my first tour with it, and It made touring feel the most at home I've ever been. Like, I can hop on the game and my boys are in Discord, all my friends and stuff that don't tour, and we can play games and talk and keep caught up with each other's lives and stuff, and that helps me feel normal. I don't really find myself struggling with any sort of like depression or anxiety on the road. That's just me personally, though. I know a lot of people do. I feel like I have good friends, man. A lot of the people I tour with are really good people, and they're just fun to be around. We're like laughing a lot of the time. Like, we're laughing and joking, busting each other balls, and it just feels good. It's just, I feel like I thrive in the environment, to be honest. It's when I'm at home is when I feel like I struggle the most, because you're up here all the time, you're on tour, you're, you know, big crowds, and you have a purpose, and then you get home and it all comes to a screeching halt. That is the part that I feel like most people in this industry struggle with, especially the artists, because they're the ones, their adrenaline's at the top, they're playing, you know, these huge shows, and they go home, and I don't know, like that was, I struggled with it the most then, but I was also in a different situation back then. When I was touring as the drummer, I was in a smaller band, I wasn't making hardly any money, so like that was probably the worst time in touring for me, because I would, like I said, I'm out playing shows to all these people, and then I come home and I've got no money, so I have to go back to my job making pizza, and it was just a hard adjustment going from, you know, signing autographs and taking pictures of the people to, you know, making pizza. So, and then no one that I work with, you know, even has heard of the band I played in. So, and also I was much older than a lot of the people I worked with. So I was like, you know, 29, 30, 31 years old, working alongside like 16 to like 20-year-old people. Just like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing with my life? And that was like a constant thing when I get home. I stuck with it and I got out of that. So, but yeah, I mean, on the road, like I said, I just got good friends, man. I think the people I work with are really cool. They're fun. And I think that keeps me level-headed. And now that I'm home, I'm so much less stressed out now. And especially with YouTube, it gives me a purpose at home as well. Like, it gives me something to do. Like, I feel like I struggle the most when I don't have any purpose. So on tour I have purpose, I come home, I'm like, what am I doing? I have no purpose. But now with YouTube, I have a purpose. I have something to like channel my energy towards, which keeps me good, man, keeps me coasting, and I'm not struggling with any of that too much. So, but yeah, that's a good question. Metal Jackster asks, what's your favorite part of the day as a drum tech? My favorite part of the day, hands down, is building and tuning and like the sound check, that part, because that's what I'm here to do. So I genuinely look forward to that part. That's the part of the day that goes by the fastest, because I'm engaged, and sometimes it's challenging. There was a tour I did a couple years ago. It was Falling in Reverse and Papa Roach, and I would take over one of the truck trailers. I would get all my drum trunks out, and I had like candles, and I had my little speaker, and I would just put on like Tycho or Rufus Du Sol, and I'd be blasting that, and it would smell good, and I'm just in there tuning. It was great. That was like my favorite part of the day. The next question comes from Mironov. What's your goal with being a drum tech? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? My goal with being a drum tech would just be to continue climbing the list of people's Rolodexes. I would like to be in the top 3 of most people's, like, when they need someone, they go down the list, you know, like, we'll call this guy, oh, he's not available, we'll call this guy, he's not available, we'll call this guy, oh, he's available. I want to be at the top, towards the top of that list, you know what I mean? Like, in many genres. Yeah, and also building this channel more. Like, I would love to eventually, at some point, not tour. I don't plan on doing that anytime soon. Let's keep that clear, but I'm talking like 10, 15 years down the road here. Maybe just pick and choose tours that I want to do, maybe 1 or 2 a year tops. This is farther than 5 years down the road. I just looked back at your question and you said, where do you see yourself in 5 years? But yeah, like, I would just want to continue moving up the top of these people's Rolodexes and be known as like the guy that can, like a chameleon for drummers. I can make it happen for anyone, you know what I mean? That would be cool. This question comes from Ken. How did you get in touch with / start working with the A Day to Remember camp? If you've watched all my videos, you probably know who Nate Northway is. The front of house, he did front of house for Falling in Reverse. That's when I met him. And his main gig is A Day to Remember. So when they needed a drum tech, he gave me a call. It's funny how it actually happened. I should pull the text up, but it went something like this. He had watched my interview with Nick De La Cruz, and he's like, what drum company was it that you said that was overrated? And I was like, SJC. And he laughed and said, well, you want to take care of one all summer? And that was basically that. So, and I said, sure, let's give it a shot. And for the record, that kit is great. That SJC kit is by far the best SJC kit, one of the better sounding kits I've ever worked with. So I was really blown away. I knew somebody and I made a good impression on them, showed them that I had a good work ethic, and when the time came up and they needed somebody, I was the first person they thought of, and I got the gig. I felt bad because there was a few of my friends that were trying to get that gig too. Sorry guys, sorry. The next question is from Realm SLB. Why don't you mention the band's name in your video titles? This is a good question. I do this because I want these videos to be about my day and drums and being a drum tech, which in a way has nothing to do with the band that I'm working for. I want them to be centered around just the drums and my day, nothing else. I'm not trying to get views off of someone else's name, and I really love that it's doing so well without any of that too, because that just shows that it doesn't matter. Like, I'm making good videos and it doesn't matter what band I'm working for. People are watching and people are enjoying it. I'm just trying not to like get views off other people's hard work. I want it to be my own hard work. I have plenty of people around that could shout out these videos and they don't. I don't want them to. I want this to be all me. So, and which it has. None of my people, I have plenty of people in my corner that have big followings that could do that, and they don't, and I'm totally cool with that because it's proven that I don't even need that. So maybe it's like my own ego, I don't know, but I just want it to be my hard work that brings success in the channel. This one comes from Mayfired. What is your favorite things to do on off days on tour? This is my routine. Get to the hotel, go to the room, take a nice secluded peaceful poop, take a nice long shower, do all of it, the whole skin routine and everything. I'm super into Lush cosmetics, man. I got the body scrubs, I got the cleansers, I got it all. Take care of myself on the day off, and then if it's a good city with a lot of food around, like good restaurants, I'll find a good restaurant, and even if it's by myself, no one else wants to go out, I'll go sit down and have like a nice meal, man. An app, a beer, and a main course, man, and just go to town. And then after that, I'll see if the boys are online. I'll get the rig out, get the laptop out, and just game like I'm at home, dude. That's like my favorite thing to do on an off day. Like I said, I value my alone time, so that's really what the days off are for me. Just in the hotel room. This last tour was in the summer. It was really hot everywhere, so I wasn't really trying to go outside too much. I was just taking advantage of the hotel's power bill and putting my AC at absolutely as low as it will go, and just getting a blanket, mouse, the keyboard, and just ripping some games with the boys, man. That's like my favorite thing to do. Like, I've been touring for 10 years, so in the US especially, I've been to all these places a bunch of times, man. So like, there's a few cities that I'll go to where I'm like, oh, I gotta do this, or I gotta eat here. I'm going to the UK soon, so I'll probably I might even make another channel for like off days, because I don't know how an off day vlog would do for the algorithm. I'll let you know when that time comes, but it might be a more travel-centered channel. That's it. That's all the questions. I mean, there was so many more. There was a lot of repeated questions in here, and I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. Like I said, there's 150 questions. Thank you guys again for watching my videos and liking them and sharing them and telling your friends about them. Also, just being great people in the comments. Still to this day, there's such little negativity in the comments. It blows my mind. You guys are all cool, man. You guys all probably make it in the touring music world. You guys are all pretty chill. But anyways, that's it for this one. Thank you guys again from the bottom of my heart. Really, this has changed my life. This channel, it's I don't know what to say, man, but thank you guys. So the next Q&A will be at 100,000. So we've got about 39-ish thousand subscribers to go, and we'll get that one out. I hope I get there, man. I really hope I get there. Share the channel with your buds, please. If you found some value in this video, share it with your friends, and maybe they can find some value in it too. Much more to come. Hit that notification bell, hit the like button. Anyways, see you guys out on the road. Be safe, take care, peace.